Broadcasting from the capital of sports, it's the Matty B Show. Right here on Epis Sports Radio. Matty B on Epis Sports Radio.
And swung on and into the air. To deep right center. That ball is high. That is far. It is gone. Very deep as White hits one deep to left field. Higley back near the wall. It's out of here. The Mets win the ball game.
The Mets win the ball game. Yeah, we don't hear that anymore. What's going on? What's going on?
Decker holds it in. The Jets win in overtime.
All right. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's your boy, Matty B, Epis Radio Entertainment. This is the live recording of episode 75. I've got my special guest here, Steve Adorno, also known as Stevie Beatz Adorno, coming out with a new album. We're going to talk about it, titled Ascension, a Brazilian Music Fantasy, Volume 2. Steve is a returning guest of the show. We've talked many times. He goes way back. Again, just a reminder to those, you hear the intro music. He is the producer of that, conductor, producer, whatever it is you want to say. Without him, it doesn't exist, all right? And he's been making music for decades. Again, we're not going to get into all that in this episode just because he's been on the show before. If you want to, go check out the previous episode. I'm blanking on the number. Oh, episode 50. Right. How can I forget? He joined on for episode 50 of the Epis Sports Podcast. So again, go check him out. This latest album, A Brazilian Music Fantasy Volume 2, is a vibrant, independent fusion album officially released on May 8, 2026 by him. Not only him, but his wife, Loy Rose Adorno. All right, the album expands on their self-defined signature genre of Brazilian urban bossa and samba funk, blending traditional Brazilian rhythms with contemporary jazz, R&B, and pan-Latin flair. Congratulations on the new one, bro. But before we get into all that about the new album, how are you doing? Coming from the rooftop of the Bronx, all right? Yeah. How's everything? You look good. I like the shirt. He's got the Epis Radio hat on. Look at him, supporting as usual.
How to represent.
So how are you, man? What's going on? Anything outside of the album? What's new?
I'm doing good, man. What's new is mostly me working on my music as usual. Got a lot of different projects going on. Pumping out new music videos to support the album and the album songs with. At the moment that's got me kind of busy. But right now I'm up here on the roof, and you take a quick look, everybody. This is the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. I'm up on my building here where I live, and it's a beautiful day, afternoon right now. But yeah, man, I'm feeling okay. And keeping busy, I got my band too that I'm working with all the time, virtual band, VBNYC, the virtual band. We got some nice summertime concerts coming up. I think we have June 18th coming up here, which is really soon. We'll be up at Harrison Silver Lake for the Harrison Silver Lake Summer Concert Series.
Nice.
So yeah, you can look that up on the internet.
Outdoor, and, I'm assuming, right? Is it an outdoor venue?
Concert.
Yeah.
It's outdoor and it's free.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful location. It's by the water, and it's just a gorgeous spot. And we're gonna entertain the crowd. My wife, Lori Rose, vocalist, and myself, and the rest of the band. And yeah, we're gonna have a good time. So yeah, I'm doing what I always do, brother. I'm making music.
Will you be playing the new album on this upcoming, or is just separate and you guys keep it separate from the V-Band stuff?
Thing. Yeah. Matter of fact, probably by the end of the summer, I'll be putting together a band specifically for the new album.
Okay,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, that'll be coming up soon. So keep follow this page for
Mhm.
news on that one as it comes along.
Absolutely, check him out right there. You see the Instagram handle. Okay, he also does have a YouTube, I believe.
Oh yeah,
It was titled Stevie. Is it Steve Adorno? It's Stevie Beatz Adorno as well for the YouTube page.
I think it's also Stevie Beatz Adorno.
I'll pull it
So
up
many
for.
pages.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
many pages I forget.
I'll pull it up for everybody. I believe it's Stevie Beatz though Adorno. That's I was double
Yeah, most
checking.
likely.
Yeah, it is. There you go. I'm gonna pull it up. Have everybody see that real quick. So again, congrats. That's awesome to hear. Obviously, love the V band. Gotten to see you guys perform. You guys put on a good time. Anything you guys end up playing, whether it's original or cover, it's just great. Good vibes. But I'd be interested, to see this. You never played. Have you ever played Volume 1 live? Or no?
No, neither album.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But this band that I'm putting together is going to be performing songs from both albums.
Okay.
So yeah, so it'll be a combination. It's each album is got 11 tracks. That's 22 songs with the two albums. So we'll pick out the most fun and best songs from each album.
What's a good number for you on a set? How many songs you doing?
It's usually time wise, depending.
Right.
So most of our shows are about 45 minutes long.
Okay.
So that's if it's in a club or a theater or a location like that. The outdoor concerts are a lot easier. Those are usually 2-hour shows, an hour each set. We break it up, with a break in between each set. We can do in a 45-minute set. We could probably do about 8 or 9 songs, depending on the arrangement.
Do you ever find yourself like cutting songs short or expanding depending on the time? Like, how do you just so you could fit in a certain amount?
Well,
Like, what's the
absolutely.
strategy with that sometimes?
The strategy for that is when we rehearse, we know that the clock is going to be within a certain period of time. So what we do is we will make arrangements of songs. Sometimes we don't play entire songs. We'll do medleys of some songs.
Right.
Which
Right.
means 2 or 3 songs will be connected. So you only get a piece of each song, maybe the most fun part of each song. And so we'll shave it down, the set down, the arrangement so that it fits the 45-minute slot.
Right.
So this way, we're not going off the cuff. It's all well rehearsed. It's on the clock, so it's very professional. And when you come see us, we take you for a ride. It's really cool.
Now, leading up to a gig like that, ideally, how many times you're rehearsing, or I know it depends on scheduling and other guys and things like that, but like, is it just like one big rehearsal and all right, you run with that, or ideally you want to get together a couple of times and really rehearse it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm fortunate that I have a band that likes to rehearse.
Okay.
So depending on whether our schedules all line up, but usually our average is a minimum of 2 rehearsals a month, and sometimes 3.
Okay.
When everything's scheduled.
That's
Because
a good
we like
amount.
to keep,
Yeah.
yeah, which we usually rehearse on Wednesday nights. That seems to be a day that's good for everybody in the band. And our rehearsals are about 2.5, 3 hours long.
Okay.
And we get things really tight as a drum, man.
Where do you guys rehearse? Do you go to the studio? Do you at somebody's crib? Where you at your crib? Where you?
Well, we rehearse in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Okay.
Our keyboard player has a house, and he has converted the lower part of the house, the basement part of the house, into
Nice.
a recording studio, rehearsal studio.
Awesome.
Which is named The Spot.
Nice.
So it's professionally set up. We're super comfortable in there. It's like a cross between a studio and a clubhouse. So we're very comfortable. We have a little kitchen.
Is it completely like soundproofed the whole nine?
Yeah, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But we're a band, so sound does leak. But his neighbors have been his neighbors for years, and the houses that are next to him, they're totally cool with us. You know,
Right.
we usually rehearse from maybe 7 o'clock till midnight. You know, maybe
Okay.
11 o'clock, the latest 11 o'clock. This way we're not bothering, people past a certain hour. We're respectful, and we're not a loud band to begin with. When we rehearse, we're conscious of volume, so that we're
Okay.
not,
Okay.
annoying people, the neighbors, and stuff like that. So we've never had one complaint. We've been rehearsing there for 5 years now, and not one complaint, not once.
Well, it's
So
not like you're playing like terrible music either. Honestly, like
that's
how,
true.
how could you really like hate on it? Like if I had neighbors like you, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna get mad at that. Like I just get to hear music all day. Like I love music, so it wouldn't bother me at all. I'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's
Well, the
one thing.
genre,
Right,
yeah,
the
the
genre
genre of
of
the
music.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah, the genre that we play is a classic R&B and soul.
Hmm.
So, and funk.
Right.
We were in, the virtual band, as people know us. We were all former members of platinum recording artists that were signed to labels. We all had hits with
Mm.
different bands, number one hits. So when we come see us play, we perform a lot of the hits that we were part of.
Hmm.
So, people know our music. They grew up listening to it. We're part of the soundtrack of a lot of people's lives that follow this genre of music. So, when we rehearsing, people are hearing songs they grew up with, So I guess it's not bothering anybody.
Right. No, of course. That's what I mean. Yeah, it works. But then again, if it's it's other type of genre of music that neighbors not necessarily fond of, I'm sure it would have been a problem a long time ago. If they're playing like
Yeah, exactly.
heavy
Yeah,
metal over there, whatever,
little
I'm not
rough.
into it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if I would mind that, but that's not for everybody.
it's not for everybody. You got a lot of families and next to us, across the street, two houses on each side,
Oh,
one in the back.
it's pretty
Yeah,
dense over there. Huh? I thought, being Jersey, I think, I would think it's not like too
no,
dense
no,
like that. Yeah, T-Nex.
Teaneck is a big city, so although he lucked out because his backyard is wide open, man, and it's actually deer come walking through his yard in
Nice.
the back. So it's his house is on the sides, but it's still pretty kind of open. So it's a nice spot. It's a nice spot, and we're really comfortable there. We're blessed that we have this location for the band to rehearse in. So.
All right, so about the new album, before we play a track from a video from the latest one, why don't you tell me, what went into it, the idea? I think you touched a little bit back on the previous episode we have done, but just for a reminder, since obviously that's the main focus today. Like, what was your inspiration behind it?
Absolutely.
What was the conception of the idea of the album? Yeah, like how did it all begin?
So I would have to start from the first album, which was Espiritu, a
Right.
Brazilian music fantasy, which came about because previously to that, Lori and I had just come back from Italy, and we spent about 3 weeks there in Italy, traveling to all the beautiful cities there. And I was extremely inspired by the experience of being in Italy. So when I came back, it had really recharged my creative juice.
Mm.
So I ended up writing all this music. I think I wrote like 14 or 15 songs, and then picked the best 12 to put out as that album. The album was released, and it did really well. We ended up having 5 top 10 jazz hits on jazz stations. A lot of really positive response to the music and the album, especially in the genre of Brazilian jazz, which is a pretty specific genre.
Mm.
So, but that it seems that because it's a world, considered world beat, that it wasn't just something that America would be interested. The whole planet loves samba and
Right.
bossa
Right.
nova music. And the way I handle it is because my background is really in R&B and soul. I ended up making a fusion of the R&B and soul mixed with the samba and bossa nova.
That's awesome.
And the radio station started to call us a new genre. They said that
You created something. Yeah.
Yeah, and they named us Urban Bossa.
That's
which
awesome.
is a new term. So yeah, I thought that was fabulous. So now I've been referring to us as that. So because the
Yeah,
album was
you got to ride
successful,
with that. That's awesome. Yeah.
I had to ride with it.
Yeah.
So because the album was successful, clearly this is now this is a year ago, 2005. Clearly a follow-up was now's the time to do it while things are hot.
Sure.
So I spent the past year writing and composing new songs with Lori because she's the lyricist and she wrote like melodies and lyrics. So we composed the stuff together. And I wrote another 11 songs of in that same vibe, that fusion of R&B, soul, and samba and bossa nova, and to continue the urban bossa genre. And it's only been out since May 8th. It was released, so it hasn't been out long, but it's already doing quite well. We've already got a top 10 single with New Day Samba, which is the first single off the album. It's top 10 on the Brazilian and smooth jazz stations. We have a top 20 Rising, which is a song called Because of You. No, not Because of You. That's not the right
No.
title. Nobody but you.
Nobody but
That's
you,
the
right,
title.
right. Which is the first one. Actually, it was either that or the French song that we were gonna play for you. So I was gonna do Nobody But You as a first, but either way we could do. So that's one.
Right.
Yeah.
The other song that we're going to be playing for you a little later in the show is called Je marche avec mon bébé, which means in English, walking with my baby. And it's a song that Laurie wrote and sings in French. Now Laurie's very talented. She's a great vocalist, but she also has this gift of language. She can sing in Spanish. She can sing in Italian. She sings in French. And even one time she was hired by a Swahili group that was doing a recording session, and they taught her the background vocal parts that were in Swahili, and she picked it up like really quick.
That's
and
crazy.
Yeah. So she has this like magical gift for language.
Does she speak at all like any French or anything, or is it just like?
No.
She's just able to pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just
That's
able
crazy.
to pick it up.
Yeah.
She understands a lot of the Italian. She understands some of the French too. But to write the lyrics, she most usually writes in English and then translates them into the language that whether it's going to be Italian or Spanish.
That's wow. That's got to be so difficult to do.
For me, it would be impossible. But she seems to have that gift where she'll do the work. She'll put the time and use translators and check, making sure that everything is correct, so that people that understand that language understand that the words are correct.
That it translates, because I would think like if you were to just write it in English and then try to like just translate it from there, I wouldn't think it would quite work. You'd have to, maybe restructure things a little bit.
Yes, you do. So she has that gift. So.
Oh my God. You know what? Maybe it's a good spot to actually play that. I do have that queued up. So. Why not? Let's do that again. What's the title? I don't even want to try to butcher it.
It's Je marche avec mon bébé.
Mon bébé.
English, walking with my baby.
All right, here you go. This is the latest from off the album Ascension.
soleil brillant toute la journée. Je vois la magie dans vos yeux. Oh, oh, ça vous rend merveilleux. je regarde dans vos yeux. Oh, oh, je dis ce qu'il y a dans mon cœur. Je marche avec mon bébé. Je marche avec mon bébé. Yeah. Encore une fois,
Not bad. There you go. That's off the latest album, Ascension, a Brazilian Music Fantasy Volume 2. If you want to check out the rest of the video, it's up on Steve's page, Stevie Beatz Adorno, on YouTube. Also, we were speaking, as that song was playing right now, just launched about a week ago a new website where you could go and check out his whole catalog. You could purchase vinyl, CDs, whatever it is you're interested in, or just the music in general. What was it again? Dude, Steve.
It's Steve Adorno and Lori Rose Adorno. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. It's Steve and Lori Rose Adorno.com. Steve and Lori Rose Adorno.com.
LoriRoseAdorno.com. There you go. I'm going to have that pulled up for everybody right now. Boom. There it is. Very nice. All right. So go check it out. If you're interested in more, you can join the mailing list. Just pop in your email. Look, I'll show you how easy it is to do that right now as I pop in my email, even though, it's not like it's my cousin or anything. And I get all the other, I get all the inside notifications that you guys don't.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll join the mailing list, or I could just show you how easy that was to do that right now. All right. And he's got all his links, the whole nine, to everything: Amazon, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, SoundCloud. Check it all out. Is that Apple Music? Is that the Icon Factor Music? The little...
Yep, that is.
Okay, I don't use Apple Music, so I wouldn't know. But there you go. I called it. But your music's on there. A lot of people do. It's crazy. I've never used Apple Music before.
We're on 27 different streaming services right now.
Wild.
So you can find us pretty much anywhere. YouTube Music, Amazon. I mean, we're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Quick question on that. So do you use one main thing that sends it out to all those platforms? Like how do you do, or you've like individually gone on
I'm
each
old
platform?
school. I'm old school, man. I go in and I go on some of them, but I do work with a distribution company that gets me out to most of the stores.
Okay.
They're called TuneCore. They are an artist music distribution service.
Mm-hmm.
So I pay a fee, and they make sure that my music is in all locations, all streaming services.
I assume that's how most people do it now. I just haven't quite looked into it myself, because the way I do it is individually. So, I have other methods to upload onto multiple platforms myself, because
there are other ways to do it.
I have other softwares that do it, but I tend to not like doing it for very specific reasons in regards to my contact. It kind of screws some things up at times. So, I avoid doing it. So I'll literally individually, like, the only thing that's linked is my Instagram and Facebook. So if I post to Instagram, it gets automatically uploaded to Facebook. That's it. So I don't ever, I used to manually go to Facebook, upload separately. I stopped doing that. Now it's just linked. YouTube, I do everything,
same here.
Separately. And that's really it, because I'm not on any of the other platforms anymore. I probably should be. I used to put my stuff on Spotify, stopped doing it. SoundCloud, back in the day, when we first started, that's where it went up initially. That's when you helped me set it up. That's how, the only reason I know it's SoundCloud is because of you, actually. And I just stopped doing it. I don't have it on there anymore. I don't know. I guess it would help. How could it not help? It can't hurt. right?
those
You might
those
as well.
platforms have grown. Those platforms have grown extensively.
Yeah,
So it might be a good idea to get back there
yeah.
because you want as much traffic to drive to your podcast as possible.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. It again can't really hurt, right? At the very
nope, can't hurt.
at the worst, you know, you get a couple of people that discover you from there, and then they come over the cross platform, and
Oh yeah,
that's it. You know, I mean, that's what you want. That's the goal.
that is.
Awesome. So, all right, let's talk a little bit more about the album. What is there a specific song on the album that you love to play out of all of them? Like, what's the one that you just get you find like, oh, I'm ready. You know, it excites me to play. Not that I'm sure all of them do, but like, is there one that you really get into it, or that you just prefer playing? I don't know.
I get asked that question by a lot of interviewers, and my response is usually this: my songs are like my kids; they're like my children, and it's pretty difficult to say this is my favorite son,
Right.
favorite daughter.
Yeah, but we all have a favorite one.
That is correct. That's where I was going. So I do love all the music that we've done. Each song that I compose with Lori is usually some reflection of a part of my inside my soul, or an experience I've gone through, or how I'm feeling. So it's usually there. All the songs are a reflection of me and Lori. But there are some that I really love to listen to. I love to listen to also the new album. I would say New Day Samba is one of my favorites. I smile every time I hear it. There's another one at the end, the last track of the song on the album, which again, man, I got like 100,000 songs in my head. I can't think of the title, which is ridiculous. But the last song on the album is the one that is another one that I love. So if you go on to listen to the entire album, whether on streaming or wherever, the last song on the album is one of my favorites.
Is there a spot on? I have it pulled up right now on the website, like where you could go and
track
buy the
11.
vinyl, but I'm not seeing like the list of tracks. Do you gotta click? You gotta click on it? It shows the buy vinyl here, gives you a little description on the left hand side.
Yeah, but click on buy vinyl. It should take you there to look at the album.
Okay.
And that should have the list of songs. But and of course,
there we go. Yeah. There.
So what's track 11?
Track or side B, the last one.
Yeah, last track.
Diodado's Dance.
Oh, okay. So it's different on the album than it is on the CD.
Okay. So you got like Nobody But You, I'm By Your Side, TikTok, In the Name of Love, Diodado's Dance, In the Name of Love.
In the Name of Love.
What's going on? People honking out here. Hey, Jesus.
Good Lord.
This is New York City traffic.
Oh yeah, man, we're in New York, man. The rest of the country can watch us and know we're here.
As a producer of the show, I'm kind of like weird on leaving that in the background, but at the same time, like, you know what? I like it. It's natural. Let it fly. Yeah. Like you said, you got the. Although I haven't heard it on my end, but I know you got the train track right there. I haven't heard that. So maybe it's not picking up on your audio. Yeah,
I heard your horn. Yeah.
Yeah, my mic picks up everything. If I leave that window open, that's it. Yeah, I have to shut the window, or else my mic. It's a pretty decent mic. It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to be. Those kind of mics are supposed to be super sensitive. So that's a good sign that it picks up like that.
Can you believe, actually, dude? I'm sure you can believe it, but right now there's a festival. I think it's either Rolling Loud or Governor's Ball. I think it's Governor's Ball, taking place in Flushing Meadow Park. Flushing Meadow from here is about 3.5 miles. I know because I've run it before.
Okay.
They have like several stages throughout Flushing Meadows, and I believe parts of the city feel like parking lot area. I believe. So they have several stages, music going all on once, like different performers going on at a time. It's a 3-day event type thing. It's crazy. I can hear the music 3.5 miles away.
Yeah. The sound systems they use are humongous. That's number one. And number
Crazy.
two, sound travels, especially on a warm, sunny day like today with low cloud coverage. So you will definitely get sound to travel a lot further than normal.
Mm.
And you will hear it. You will hear it where you are. 3 miles is about right. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of absurd. I remember when I first moved here and they had a festival. I was like, what the hell is like, we just kind of thought somebody's playing like music nearby, like pretty loud or whatever. And then when we went out that day and then we were driving on LI, like, holy shit, that's what it is, actually. Like, it's the festival. Like, that's insane. Like, it's 3.5 miles. I honestly didn't think you would hear it that well. Yeah, like I could almost make out certain songs at times, like, and that's pretty incredible. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So
That's science, man. That's sound.
like, I mean, does it sound louder? I mean, it has to sound louder if you're next to those speakers, but like, it sounds as if like it would be too loud if you're next to
Actually,
those.
how it works is the further away you are from the speakers, the louder it is, because the sound waves that are coming out of the speakers themselves have more of a chance to spread out into the full wave. When you're really
Really?
close on top of it, the sound wave, if you could see a sound wave,
Right.
you would see that it's tight and short close because it doesn't have time to spread out.
Oh, right.
As you get back further and further, that's why, like, when you go to a concert, people say, "Oh, I want to sit in the first few rows." Well, that's cool if you want to see, but if you really want to hear it well, you got to sit further back because
Interesting.
the sound has more time to spread, and the sound waves have more time to travel and spread,
Huh.
and you will hear a better, fuller, frequencies of the sound.
That changes my perspective on how I want to view a concert. Then
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't think of it. I never thought of it that way.
I don't go to a lot of concerts because I'm in the music business, so and I don't like sitting in the middle of hundreds of people who are singing along.
Right? Yeah, it's annoying.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But when I do go to a concert, which actually I'm going to a concert real soon. I think it's next week. We're going to go see the Sergio Mendes band in
Nice.
in New Jersey. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And I have passes for backstage to go meet the band. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Cool. That's cool.
They're a big influence on my musical career, those guys.
I've been going to quite a few concerts, but that does change my perspective on how I want to view it. Like maybe now for certain artists, like, all right, I don't necessarily need to sit close for you, but I'd rather take in all the music and hear it in the optimal way and really enjoy it that way. Like, yeah, now that changes. And of course, it's not a bad thing because it's cheaper the further I sit back. So I'm spending less and I can justify sitting back there as opposed to, like.
You're going to hear better.
Right. Yeah.
You hear the mix much better back there.
That's really good to know. I swear, I understood the science. You learn it, growing up in grade school a little bit. You've been taught sound waves, but I never really understood that, for music, it was almost preferred that, you'd be away, so it makes total sense now, I think about it. So that was cool.
They sit close because they want to see the artist closer, which is okay. But now, most of these concerts have, jumbo screens and shit like that. So you could see them better on the screen, But you go to a concert, you want to hear the music live. You want to hear it. So sitting further back is more optimal, like I said, for the acoustics of the situation. So yeah.
Does it change? Of course it changes outdoor, indoor. Like if you're indoor arena, from what I've understood, it's like, or a show, anything like that, if it's a small theater type, like the back middle was like the best, preferred locations, not all the way up front. It's not all the way up front, not all the way in the back. That back middle is like, does that go for, is it only like theater or is it also like big arena? Like big arena is weird, especially if you're like take Madison Square Garden, because if the performer's in the very middle, then where's the optimal place then to be?
Depends on the acoustic of the type of room. I find that the bigger arenas, mid rear is best. If you go too far back or or up, you get a lot of bouncing around of the sound,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts to sound kind of mushy. The sound, it's kind of mushy sound. Little
Okay.
echoey, a little delay, so you'll get a little echo bouncing. So it's not really clean. Always middle, more back, but middle is always best.
Okay.
Whether especially in an indoor place.
Yeah,
Outdoor,
and
outdoor,
outdoor, yeah, away,
outdoor,
like you said, yeah, further back, right?
further back. Yeah, further back.
Okay.
Speakers, because they have those speakers, what they call flying sound systems, where they're hanging the speakers from the side to the stage that are kind of hung in the air.
Right.
So you want to sit back so that those sound waves really get a chance to open up, and you hear the full frequencies of those mix. The technology today for the mixing board is phenomenal. So if you're sitting in the right spot, it sounds like you listen to an album.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have the set list up here. This is straight off the website for you guys, okay? The Ascension Brazilian Music Fantasy Volume 2. You got, this is the vinyl. You can buy it. I just purchased my own. Should be coming out. What's the timetable on that? What's the estimated delivery time?
It's going to be a few weeks. Might be 3 to 4 weeks because
Okay.
the record company's in London, in
Okay,
the
wow.
UK.
Gotcha.
So they're pressing out there, and they got to ship it. But I have some of the last album we did that they shipped out to me, and the quality is phenomenal.
Mm.
Really top end pressing. The album covers, the sleeves are beautiful, and the actual vinyl itself is pressed amazingly on really high quality vinyl.
Mm.
And they sound great. If you have a way to play some vinyl, it
Oh, I
sounds.
do. I got my record player. Yeah, I got it. You got
Oh
me
yes,
one.
it
Yeah.
sounds great.
There's a
Vinyl
reason
sounds-
why I buy it. Yeah, I'm not just. It's not going to sit on the shelf. Believe me, I listen to that. I love vinyl.
Yeah.
I've always loved vinyl.
Yeah,
And
me too. Me too.
there's still a market for it. I think more so now. Like
market-
it's coming back. I feel like
The market is beyond comeback. It's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
back in a big way. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, I stay on top of what is going on as far as CD,
Mhm.
vinyl, streaming, and vinyl is almost starting to outshine streaming and
Hmm.
CDs.
I'm not
It seems like
surprised. Well,
people-
definitely CDs. Nobody's buying
Yeah.
CDs anymore.
Yeah, that's rare now.
Yeah.
Although even that CDs have started to grow back a little more
Really?
too. This year, this year the numbers have grown just a slight bit.
Here's
That's kind of good.
Here's my
Yeah.
theory on that. There's a little bit of a millennial movement where we're trying to get back to that 90, early
Yeah.
2000 feel.
Absolutely.
And I
That's
think,
it.
and it's a lot of people also raising kids. It's a way to get them a little bit
Yes.
of our childhood. And, not that it's a bad thing, because it is, with all the screen
it's
time
cool.
nowadays, it's just, it's a way to get away from that. People are even setting up, pay phones and connecting them again and trying to teach the kids and, how to use a landline and, rotary phones
Yeah.
if you can
It's
get your
crazy,
hands
but it's
on them.
cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
There's a bit of a movement with that, and music
is.
has always
I've
been there.
seen that.
Vinyl, vinyl's a part of that. I
Yep.
think vinyl always sounds much better, than
Well,
you
that's the difference between
Yeah.
analog and digital. Okay,
Right.
vinyl is analog. It's a warmer sound.
Hmm.
It's a fuller frequencies are available, whereas digital is these MP3s and WAV files. They are they squash, they compress those audio waves, and they're a little they're missing the high end of the frequencies and the low bottom end. You're only getting the middle when you're listening to streaming, and that's not as full. When you pop a vinyl on, you're hearing full mastering of the frequencies that the album was recorded in originally, and that's why it sounds so great. It's a warmer, fuller frequency sound. So I've always loved vinyl, and that's why vinyl is coming back. I think people are starting to realize that never grew up with vinyl. All they grew up with was CDs and streaming.
Right.
And when they hear vinyl for the first time, it's like a shock to them. It's like, holy shit, So
I think
I'm
most
glad.
people's misconception is that it's like kind of ancient tech, and it is in regards to its conception. But actually, when you break it all down, like you just did, it's better
Yeah,
quality.
it's better quality, better
Yeah.
audio. Mm.
And how
So
could you
yeah,
beat that? If you if you're viewing anything we do, we want best quality, we want the best experience. So once you come
correct.
to realize that the science behind it and why it is the way it is, so then there you go. And
Absolutely.
it just makes for a better way to ingest the music, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
It's what happens is you listen to a vinyl, and what happens is you end up listening to the album straight through, and song after song, typically,
Yeah,
unless you want to like skip, or you just have you've listened to it before. Oh, let me skip to this song, but
right.
which is always fun and nice and easy in the way you could do it. Raising the needle, dropping it down. It's cool. It's just in itself, it's an experience.
It's a ritual.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah. But
you know
it forces you to like kind of experience it the way the album was intended to. Which I believe is like
exactly.
straight through.
As an artist, that is absolutely the truth.
Mm,
We make the album to be a journey,
hmm
a trip,
right.
so that you can take for however the length of the album is, at 40 minutes, 45-minute album. We want you to experience the album that way.
Yeah.
That's how albums started.
Right.
You
Right.
would, and again, the ritual of opening the album, looking at the sleeve that it came in
The
with the art,
art, the cover art.
reading the
Yeah.
liner
Yeah.
notes in the back, what musicians played on it,
Mm,
where was it recorded. All that stuff is important. That's all part of the experience of the album.
right.
So I'm
Now,
happy that that's coming back.
that was one of my favorite parts of buying CDs back in the day, because you get like this little booklet on the inside of the case, and it
Right.
had all their cover art and stories about the art. I
Yeah,
used to read all that shit. I loved it
yeah,
as a kid.
man. That's
You know,
part of the album. That's
yeah.
part of the experience of the band's message and the art form that we're bringing to you.
And
It's
then
all part of
then what I would do is I would pop it in, and there you go. I'd listen to it. Read off the lyrics. Because they always used to have the lyrics there too. That's
yeah.
cool.
You have a connection. You're making
Yeah.
more of an emotional connection to the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the artist. So I'm glad that vinyl is definitely coming back. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And again, proud of you for doing your thing. Congrats
Thank
on
you.
the new album.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait to experience it live. I've heard the V band stuff, but it'd be cool to see you guys again. Are you thinking, what's the idea here? You said you were gonna create a band just specifically for this. Are you big band again? You're having a lot of sections. Like, what's your early thoughts? Or you don't wanna reveal any
No,
ideas for us?
I
Yeah.
can talk about it. I can
Yeah.
reveal. Well, this genre of music is rhythm based. So there's going to be at least three of us playing all forms of percussion.
Okay.
Will most likely not be the drummer. I
Okay.
will, yeah, I will most likely be up front with Lori, because we are the lead vocalists on all this music.
Hmm.
So but I will be a percussionist up front. Not only will I be singing lead vocals, but I will be playing Brazilian percussion instruments.
Okay.
So the band will have a drummer, a Latin Brazilian percussionist with full percussion setup, and myself with mostly hand percussion, because I'll be up front singing with
Nice.
Lori. So I'll be using instruments like a pandora, which is a type of tambourine that's got a skin on it that you kind of play rhythms on instead of just shaking it like a tambourine. You don't do it that way. You hold it in one hand and you actually play with your right hand and you play rhythms on it. So there's that. There's an instrument called a cuica, which is a small, probably an 8-inch circumference drum that makes sounds that by rubbing a stick on the inside of the drum. I know that sounds weird,
Yeah.
but the sound of the instrument makes is kind of to represent what Brazilian rainforest animals make, which is more of
Damn.
a high pitched kind of a howl, which I can imitate with my mouth, which sounds more like It kind of makes that sound. It's a drum, no less.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
it's a talking drum. So I'll be playing that. I'll be playing various types of shakers and rain sticks, and a lot of instrumentation that are Brazilian percussion. So there'll be that. There'll be an acoustic guitarist. Larry Del Casal would most likely be in the band. He's a Grammy Award nominated acoustic guitarist from classical Spanish guitar, and he's fantastic at playing this Brazilian music that we're doing.
Mhm.
There'll be an electric guitarist, a guy named Ron Packow. They call him Pac-Man.
Nice.
He's a New York R&B session, jazz and R&B guitarist, electric guitarist. So he'll be in the band. Lenny Underwood, who was Chaka Khan's musical director, Aretha Franklin's music director. He's
Wow.
a number one jazz, R&B, classical pianist. He will be in the band. He also, a lot of these guys are on the album, the
Okay.
new album. So
Gotcha.
I'll be using these guys also. Um, I haven't picked a bass player yet, but I have a nice circle of bass players that I can choose from. Uh, so, Lori, myself, we may even add a second female vocalist to do the harmonies with Lori and myself.
Hmm.
And there may even be a second keyboard player who can play horn parts and violin and string section parts on the keyboard
Mm.
to get those sounds going. So it's going to be I would say a 6 or 7 piece band,
Nice.
which is
I
what
love
the
a big band,
virtual
man.
band is. Yeah, virtual band
Yeah.
is 6 piece.
Right.
Actually, it was 7 piece with when the percussionist plays with us,
Mm.
Tony Simpson. So
Speak more about, in terms of you were rattling off the instruments you're going to be using yourself. What were you aware of these types of instruments coming into this album? I mean, did you learn pick them up over the years, or did you have to do research specifically for this album, and you incorporated these instruments because of the theme, the Brazilian theme?
Well, actually, I've known about these instruments since I started playing drums at 15. And the
Okay.
reason of that, I've known about these instruments is because of my dad.
Mm.
My
There you
father,
go.
he was what I would call an audiophile. He was not a musician, but he loved music and collected all genres of albums. So he had 3, 4, 500 albums
Right.
in
Right.
the house that my brother and I grew up listening to. And because it was all genres of music, I was constantly listening to jazz albums,
Mhm.
Latin albums, classical albums, pop albums, of all types and artists. So one of his favorite artists was Sergio Mendes in Brazil
Right.
'66.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is way before I met my wife Lori. I was listening to these albums. Little did I know that across the other side of the Bronx, my wife Lori Rose, who's the singer in the band, she grew up with a father who was a musician, a guitar player.
Mhm.
And he also loved Sergio Mendes and
Yeah.
Brazil '66. So he had all their albums too. And Laurie grew up listening to the same albums. So when we met, we knew we were like stunned that we both were such fans of Sergio Mendes' music.
Yeah.
So I learned about those instruments listening to those albums. And by the time I
Amazing.
had my first band, which was Devotion, I was in high school. I was about 16. We were already starting to play Santana music,
Mhm.
and we were already starting to purchase some of those instruments.
Okay, so
we
you've
already
been familiar for a long time. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of grew up of knowing those instruments, knowing how to play them. So this is the first chance I've had, though, to actually implement them in my music, because most of my music over the years has been mostly R&B, some Latin rock, which didn't use those particular instruments. They used more Afro-Cuban percussion.
Hmm.
But this is the first time I'm really getting to implement these instruments in the music that I'm doing now, which is a total thrill for me because, it brings a whole new color to the music live. With
Mhm.
these new instrument and percussion sounds. So I'm really looking forward to having a band that's gonna play this genre of music, and it's gonna be a new journey for me.
Yeah, it's awesome. I like the fact that you're kind of taking, a backseat to, being the primary drummer, doing,
Yeah,
being up front, doing your thing, So that for me, that's exciting to see.
it is.
It's a bit of a switch up on that, So it's
It
cool, that,
absolutely is.
you're breaking that down in here, and I'm glad I asked the question now.
Yeah,
So
that was
that's
a
that's really awesome. Yeah.
good question.
All right. I don't want to hold you too much longer. We are just about at the 1 hour mark here. Let's play Nobody But You. We're going to talk about that because that was the second track that we wanted to feature for you guys off the new album, Ascension. Again, Brazilian Music Fantasy Volume 2. All right, get
That's
it
a
on
ballad.
vinyl. Get it on
That's
vinyl. Oh, the Nobody But You, right? It's a ballad.
It's a ballad.
Now,
Yeah.
did you guys write this one together?
Yes, we wrote almost everything together.
Okay,
Mostly,
okay.
but this one specifically, yeah, we wrote together. It's kind of a story about me and Lori. So, it's
Gotcha.
interesting. And there's a video for it. So if you go watch the video, you get to see the story being, right in front of your eyes with the song. So
Well, we're gonna play that video for you just a little bit, not the whole thing. Seeing it right here, it's a 6-minute song. It's a long one. The last
it's a long
two,
one.
last two
Yeah.
That we played. The
Yeah.
French one is a bit on the long side, which is nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that, But
But it's jazz, so we could get away with that. It's not
Right,
pop music,
right.
not the 3 minute, 3 minute and a half.
I was
you know,
about to
thing.
say, what's the
got a little more
average? It's
room.
it's usually like 2.5 to 3 minutes now, right?
That's a pop song. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pop radio. But we're in a different genre now, so we're allowed to extend the music a little more.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. All right, here we go. Featuring it for you guys now.
Well, I woke up this morning, got out of bed, and I'm feeling blue. So I take a lonely walk through the park. What else can I do? And it suddenly decided to rain, just to add a little drama and pain. So I turned around and who did I see? Nobody but you. You gave me your umbrella and whispered, let's get out of the rain. Said you knew a little spot we can go for some coffee on Main. So we walked and talked a bit for a while, and in no time I started to smile. Who can make a rainy day go away? Nobody but you. Now I glanced at you and wondered, what if? But you didn't say. Then you turned to me and without a word, you made it okay. You stood by me for hours on end. Just like that, my heart started to mend. I couldn't find a better friend, and it's true, nobody but you.
It was crazy. He heard it because he came over here.
All right. That's off the new album. Me and Dude over here having a conversation about the birds in the neighborhood. I'll let this one play out a little bit here. It's nice. I'll let it play in the background. This is nice jazz. This is a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
All right, you pop this on,
Absolutely.
cleaning a little bit, having a coffee, whatever. This is yeah.
It's one of those.
Oh yeah. This is right up my alley. No, I love to dance this. Nice little slow.
Yeah, it's a Sunday morning bossa nova.
There you go,
really,
baby.
really
Yeah.
cool.
All right. Yes, check it out. Funny, as I mentioned, that dude and I call him dude. Everybody, Steve Adorno, Stevie Beatz Adorno, but to me, he's the dude. He's telling me that he hears a bird picking up in my background, and there's this been annoying ass bird. It's not annoying; it's a beautiful bird. I love birds, but there's this bird that's been bothering my wife at night, sleeping because. Oh, I hear it now. Oh, look, he's right outside my window, actually, in the tree.
I hear him like he's right here.
Yeah.
The bird over here came over and he started tweeting at me.
So, like, at night, apparently his bird is very active at night, just all night long. And wherever he is, you can just hear him. He's singing constantly. He's got a tune to him the whole time, or her.
Nocturnal.
Yeah, and but never stops singing though. Just like doing whatever it is they're doing.
Mating season.
I guess so. And that's maybe that's what's going on. Yeah,
that's what's going on.
All right, absolutely. That makes sense. But dude was saying that apparently there's a bird by him that's picking up the audio of the bird over here, so he can hear it through the mic and everything, which is pretty cool. And he was like close by to him. He's just showing me as we were playing that clip of "Nobody But You" featuring Laurie Rose, off the new album again. Ascension, a Brazilian Music Fantasy Volume 2. All right, and great stuff. Anything else you wanted to say about that, about this song in particular?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This song is beautiful. If you get a chance, go find it and listen to the whole track. It features some really virtuoso musicians that I've worked with. On this particular track, it's a smooth jazz bossa nova track. It's kind of mellow, but it features a wonderful acoustic guitarist named Larry Del Casale, and he is a Grammy Award nominated acoustic Spanish guitarist who actually Laurie grew up with and has known him since they're both about 8 years old. They kind of grew up together as kids. So that's why he's kind of in our music family here, because he's a family member with Laurie, my wife, going back since their childhood. Also, it features the sax player from my band, the virtual band, VBNYC, New York. That's a guy who goes by the name of Saxy Rick. And he's an amazing smooth jazz saxophone, and is playing the soprano sax on this track, and takes a really emotional solo. The melody he's playing almost brought tears to Laurie and I when we first heard him play the part. And then, of course, there's Lenny Underwood, the pianist, who has he was a child prodigy in classical piano as a kid. And he grew up to be like Chaka Khan's musical director when she toured. Aretha Franklin. The list is crazy. If you look up Lenny Underwood, his credits are just beyond belief. And he's also featured on many of the tracks of this album. Also, I want to give a shout out to a radio station that's really been very supportive of us. They're called Connect Brazil. You can find them at connectbrazil.com. They have a radio show called The Sounds of Brazil. They are listed on the internet as the #1 Brazilian jazz radio station in the country. And they are also very huge in Brazil itself, Europe, and a lot of South America. And they just started to get play, and they have millions and millions of followers. We are in the top 10 for the past 2 years now. We've had songs in their top 10s. The one that is currently in the top 10 is New Day Samba off the new album. And that will be the 6th song of ours from both of our albums that have been in the top 10 on their radio station. So I want to give a shout out to the host of that show, His name is Scott Adams, and he is the creator of that show. They've won multiple radio awards for their
Nice.
show over the years. They've been on the air for 20 years now. I think a little over 20 years. They're based in Chicago, and they are just, if you love Brazilian jazz, or if you want to even just learn about that music, go to connectbrazil.com. Listen to some of the shows. The music is phenomenal. I find that I listen to it just for the inspiration, and a lot of the songs that I wrote for this new album were inspired by some of the music I was listening to on his station. Because and to hear our music on his station,
Yeah.
his radio show, mixed with all the classic Brazilian jazz artists.
Right,
To
right.
hear my music right up there next to theirs has been like a dream come true for me, because jazz is a tough genre to break into. It's a tough market,
Mm.
and we have been accepted into this market like we're one of the old school
Yeah,
artists.
yeah, yeah.
And we're just really, Lori and I are so thrilled, and we owe a whole lot to Scott Adams for promoting us. He loves our music, and he has really promoted us to the level where we're at now, where we're being picked up by other radio stations. We've had top 10 hits,
Nice.
both our albums. And again, if anybody who's listening to the show today, give it a listen, man. You won't be sorry. The music is phenomenal. ConnectBrazil.com. The show is called The Sounds of Brazil, and you'll hear my music and Lori's music on that radio station.
Is it
So
a
yeah,
24-hour radio, or is it just they go
24/7, baby,
yeah.
24/7, and we're in heavy rotation. They played our last year. They send me a streaming report at the end of the year, and last year they played our music almost 12,000 times,
Wow,
12,000 rotations.
that's crazy.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
So
lot
they're
of times.
really
Yeah,
that's a lot of times.
yeah.
So we love Scott Adams, and he's just a wonderful guy. We talk on the phone a lot, and he's just a wonderful guy, man. And he's got gold. I call him golden ears, because this guy, he makes the playlist of the music, and the music he plays is just one song after a number of phenomenal, top notch, number one quality, high quality music.
Right.
So I love Scott. He's just a great guy.
I might have to check it out, man. I'd love some. I got to get more into the jazz catalog and things. I used to.
that's the
I
station.
used to listen to the one here that they offered. I think they still have it, but they switched it. I think it was the AM radio. It was like 89.9. I think it used to
Yeah,
be.
it's still on. That's
Is still? Is it still? Is it
yeah, they're
still
there.
89.9?
Yes, they're in the same spot. I still listen to this.
Okay.
They're fabulous.
It was-
That's a real
Yeah.
jazz station. They're more contemporary jazz.
Right.
More
Right.
bebop, and contemporary. Whereas Connect Brazil is Brazilian jazz, which is really fucking
Right.
hip, really hip stuff.
Yeah.
So it's both of those stations are the AM one, which is W. Oh God, why can't I think of the call letters? I do listen to them, especially when we're in the car.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
pop that station on all the time.
Have you ever
they
been
play great
featured
stuff.
on there or no? Because it
Yes,
just
they
doesn't
played a
fit.
couple. No, they played a couple of our tracks from Espiritu, because
Nice.
I do send out packages of the CDs to the terrestrial radio stations that play jazz.
Mm.
So I do mailings, and I sent them our first album, and they play some tracks off of it.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
it was cool.
Is that so? What you guys? You just straight up mail it to them? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go, all these everybody has a website today in this day and
Right,
age.
right.
So I go to the website, I find out who the DJs are on that station, and who the program directors' names are. And then I send out a package with what's called a one sheet, which describes the album and who's on it, and a little history of the album, called a one sheet. And I ship it out to them. And most of the time we get results, and
Wow.
I've actually sent to radio stations around the world, Italy, Spain, Japan, Greece, the UK. I sent out
Why not?
CDs everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we get results. We get results.
Gotta take a note out of your playbook, because I guess so, man. Even though things are so easy now, you could just send an email, things like that. But like something like that to me is probably way more intimate, and chances are that's probably gonna get more results than just sending them an email of your catalog or whatever, or a video featuring that way. I would think so, at least. Yeah, it's a more human experience of it. Yeah, for
more
sure.
human connection for sure. I find that they know that you're a real person. That's not just a robot sending out
Right.
email blasts.
Yep, that's true too.
And of course, all these radio stations are constantly looking for new content because music is constantly being updated, and artists are constantly putting out new stuff. So they need, all these stations need new content. So you get results. You get results.
Again, congratulations. Proud of you. It's great stuff. We featured obviously 2 songs. If you guys didn't get a chance, play it back. All right, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Go check out Steve's page, all the socials. You got the website. You got the Instagram, Facebook. He's on all the platforms in terms of music and how you can consume it. And if you want to go old school and you want the best quality out of listening to his work, you can get it on vinyl, all right, straight off the website. It was Steve and Lori Rose Adorno.com. All right, there you go. Check him out. How do we feel about those Yankees, Steve, over there in the Bronx? It dropped out of first place. They're playing the Red Sox this weekend. Oh, this is this is game 2 of what would have been a 3-game series after the rain out yesterday. They're not doing a doubleheader today, right? No, they're making it up another time, as far as I know.
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so because they're about to actually get underway. 1:35 today. Cam Schlittler back on the mound against Ranger Suarez. Cam in himself coming off a bad outing, right? If I'm not correct, I don't think he's had another outing since then. I think he gave up like a 5 spot last time out. Yeah. A rare bad outing for him, which is interesting. So going to be interesting to see how he bounced back off of it. Even despite that effort, still 1.89 ERA on the year. The WHIP under 0.9, which is just absurd. He is just generational. I think he'll be fine. Suarez not having a bad season. 3.38 ERA. Let's see if he can stifle the Yankees a little bit. But obviously the big news, Judge. Gonna be down for a while. Who knows when he will return? The big guy is down.
August. They're saying August.
I'd imagine he'd be back ready to go for the postseason. I don't think, there's too much to worry. But that does hurt. You hate to see it. Especially, on a good year.
Both of our big guns are down. You got Stanton, who's down.
Yeah, well, he's always down. You know that. That's that was expected.
Don't get me started on Stanton.
It's about that time, it's about that time, it's all right. Stanton's down. Yeah, it's June. All right, Stanton's down. We'll see him in September.
Exactly.
Maybe Judge too. It's part of the plan, bro. I don't know.
Who knows? But now Judge is both down. So you got both those big guns down, which definitely hurts the Yankees because their whole team is based on guns.
Right.
Okay, so with those 2 guys, down, we're pretty much screwed. I haven't been happy with the consistency of the play. I find them to be so inconsistent. A lot of it is basic fundamental bullshit that they're not pulling through. I feel, small ball is always a way to go through a season, and having a good fundamental, ability to play the game, man. And I see a lot of really ridiculous mistakes and errors, which I don't know if that's just lack of focus or what the hell's going on in their heads. But, when they're on, they're on. Okay. When they're on, they're fire. But it's the consistency of that upsets me. You know, I don't see the consistency. They look flat a lot of times, and I don't know if that's the clubhouse culture, if it's the psychological and emotional thing, because they certainly have the skill, they certainly have the guys that on paper have the total ability to be monsters. So why do they go to these big long losing streaks? And when I watch these games and I watch how they lose, it's it doesn't make sense to me that these sort of things are happening. You know, who's not hitting, for what reason? You know, who's why are these errors, these simple, you know, minor league error type errors happening? And to
Right.
me, that's lack of focus. I mean, you're not. That's psychological. And of course, everybody, which is another thing I'm constantly sick of hearing, is complaining about Boone. Like this is all Boone's fault. And
It's
I
always
don't
Boone's
buy
fault.
that.
It's always Boone's
It's
fault.
always Boone's fault. And you know what? I'm sorry. I just can't swallow that, man. Because, ultimately, Boone is not pitching. He's not up on the fucking mound. Boone is not taking at bats. Okay. These guys are being paid multi-millions of dollars to play a game that they grew up playing since they were kids. Okay. There's no excuse for failing every day. I mean, I'm hard, man. When it comes to the Yankees, I'm hard on them in that way. Go show up to the ballpark and do your goddamn job.
Right.
I mean, you're in the big leagues for a fucking reason. And not only that, but you got to the pinstripes of all teams for a reason. Okay? Because you were capable of winning. And you come here and you lose, a series or another series and another. What the hell's going on?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on, and many